Hey, Zach, we're back again with a carrier update brought to you by PowerFleet. What's going on, my friend?
Yeah, like we were talking about earlier, our tender rejection rates still kind of sliding down. You see that downward trend there going down to 23.9%, just below 24%, kind of taking a horizontal slant. Don't expect it to last, however, because every single year, July the 4th happens. We're still on schedule for that to occur again.
Is it still? It's not late this year?
It's not late this year. July the 4th tends to be about the same time every year.
Around the 4th.
Yeah, around the 4th of July. And you can see that the seasonal trend for the tender rejection rate pretty much
declined through the middle of July, right?
It tends to jump up and peak right around July the 4th, again, because capacity comes off. Demand tends to spike end of quarter, end of month, et cetera. So it's a very chaotic time of year traditionally. However, you know, it's hard to imagine things getting more chaotic than they have been over the last little bit.
Yeah, it's a little crazy.
We do think some rate increases are starting to help make that a little bit better. You know, tender rejection rates coming down slowly. Traditionally, we see you know, a lot of new rates implemented in March, April, and May for the next year. So it looks like that's having an impact. And the reason I say that is we're looking at our outbound tender volume index next, and you can see we've got an opposite trend line forming for the demand side. So demand is increasing, rejection rates have decreased. So we're seeing kind of this opposition.
Yeah, you got the holiday drop there around 15 or almost at 16.
Yeah.
Right?
Yep.
And then right afterwards, right after bang, 16. So it just continues. It's
all the way back up. So it may come down.
Pretty steep climb there too going on, my friend. It's not anything to sneeze at.
You know, and it may come down a little bit as we normally kind of have a hump out around the holiday, but you see that this started way back in the middle of May, and this trend line looks like it's probably going to continue. And seasonally speaking, there's no reason for us to expect it to come down, especially like we were talking about yesterday on Banff with the maritime.
Well, you got the maritime issue that's going on, and you jokingly earlier on the carrier update, we talked about Christmas in July, right? July 4th and that, but that's really a joke because Amazon's bringing that forward.
Yeah, they pulled it forward.
Right? They pulled it forward.
They pulled it forward.
It really is Christmas in July, right?
Yeah, let's look at the map to see the hottest, coldest markets of the you know, week over week change in tender rejection rates, and as well as combined with volume, overall market share. The tallest markets there are the larger markets in terms of overall freight volume, outbound volumes. You got Atlanta, Houston, Denver, all showing heavy blue, which means that we've had a strong increase in tender rejection rates week over week. So these blue markets here are the ones that you are going to see more spot market activity, potentially increasing rate pressure, et cetera, from a week.
Because everybody's hauling freight out of Southern Cal?
Yeah, that
would not having any issue finding a truck there right now. You wouldn't think, right?
Well, no. They're still having issue finding trucks. They just, in comparison to last week, there's not a big change.
Okay. All right, gotcha.
So Columbus, Ohio, showing, you know, we talked about it yesterday, showing a lot more loosening week over week. Chicago, Illinois. So your old corridor up here that you used to work in, the upper Midwest, not having as much trouble this week. And maybe they took vacation before Memorial Day.
A little easier over there, right?
But the market I want to talk about and highlight is Baltimore, Maryland. This market does not get a lot of attention or a lot of love. Let's pull up the outbound tender volume and rejection index for Baltimore. Look at this, just jagged nightmare of a,
you know, my EKG.
Yeah, exactly. Like this is what we call volatility. This is an extremely volatile wavelength here that we're looking at. So high demand, high rejection rate, low demand, rejection rates fall back down again. This is kind of the pattern that we talk about. You know, it's a nightmare for a carrier. It's even worse for a shipper because you just cannot plan for this. This is something that rejection rates spiking. They'll probably come back down. You know, we'll see Baltimore turn red here over the next week and a half or so, more than likely. But for now,
it's a consumption market in the middle of ports and huge distribution.
Exactly.
Right? So it's really not insulated at all.
No, and you've got huge traffic congestion going all up and down. Nobody wants to go into DC. It delays you. Very inefficient market to work in general. So, but spot market rates probably going to see a little bit of a bump at least this week. Coming out of there because carriers weren't planning on this.
Yeah, no, absolutely they weren't, but they should be. Anyways, thank you so much, Zach.